What up, what up, what up? It's your girl Satimia in the house. Back on It's Fine, Everything's Fine podcast. So today, it has been a much of a crazy fucking day. Like, it's just been thing after thing. Like, I don't know what's in the fucking water or what, but people have, like, really lost their rabbit ass minds. I have really been noticing, and there is a correlation, and it's perfect because it goes right hand in hand with the topic, one of the topics I had already picked for this day, which is liquid courage, man. You would not do it if you weren't sober. That's what I wrote down because I just want to touch on that, right? Like, people, I see it all the time where people like just don't know how to handle their liquor. And me personally, I have been drinking since I was 14 years old. And even since a 14-year-old little girl that I was, that had no business even drinking, I still never was like the person who just got drunk as fuck and just acted like a straight idiot. Like, from a young age, because I was dating a 20-year-old, and I know it's disgusting. He was a pedophile. But when I was 14, I dated a 20-year-old, and I dated him for 4 years. So from 14 to 18, I was dating a 20 to 24-year-old. And so, like, I lived my college years in high school, which I'm not proud of that. Like, it's not something like, oh, yeah, I think I'm so cool. Because it's messed up. And I wish, things could have been different. But it is what it is. I don't ever regret anything because I just was the definition of severe daddy issues, right? So, anyways, I thought I loved him. I thought he loved me, but really he was just using me, and that's fine. But I say all that because, when I was like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, I was hanging out with these, 20 plus year olds. And like, I still, even way back then, was like helping these grown ass people take care of themselves. Which, like, in retrospect, until your brain is fully developed at 25, you're still pretty immature and stuff yourself. But my thing is, I learned it from a young age, and at this age, now that I'm 27, I don't like to drink. I'm not going to say I don't drink at all because I do still drink here and there socially, and that's something for me. Alcohol has always been a social thing. I've been more of the stoner type, like trip on some shrooms or something. But alcohol has just like never been my forte because I don't know when to stop, and I can admit that. Like, I'm one of those people that once I start drinking, if I drink like a couple drinks, then I'm good. But if I get past that like third drink, I'm going balls in. I'm drinking till I pass out. And I know that, but even if I drink until I pass out, I still can hold my liquor. Now, as I'm older now, like I said, I don't really drink anymore. I definitely don't drink how I used to because it's just not appealing to me, like feeling like shit the next day. I Not only do I always feel like shit the next day, but I also notice that 9 out of 10 times I wake up and I did at least one thing I wouldn't have done if I was sober, right? And like, man, these people out here, it's just really, really crazy because what I've realized is liquor just brings out the worst in everybody. I don't care who you are or how old you are or how long you've been drinking. It doesn't matter. Like, every single person who drinks, it's like it's the worst version of yourself. And I can say that because I know for me personally, it's the same way. Like, I just don't give a fuck if I'm drunk. And I know I'm not the only one. Like, that's why they say liquid courage because, like, you just don't fucking care. And if you're drunk, you have no issue with, like, saying things you would never say or doing things you would never do. And, like, some people, like, they really, really, really cannot handle liquor, like, at all, at all. Like, I just experienced something not too long ago where, and I didn't drink, but my friend came over and she had brought some friends with her. And this guy was drunk, super drunk, right? And basically, like, he was the most disrespectful person I have ever endured in my house ever. He was cool until he got drunk. And like, let me tell you, as the night went on, the drunker he got, the worse he became. And like, literally got so bold to, even when my friend left, and like, I happened to know, so I happened to know the cousin of the guy that like she was with, who like then she had invited and they came over. And she went home 'cause she lives in my same complex, and he stayed. Well, they both stayed. It wasn't just him, but they both stayed because I was like, I don't care, because they were like, we're up still, blah, blah, blah. Which I already was like super irritated with the guy, and I just was like, whatever, because I'm cool with his people, and I just was like, whatever. But, and I just, by the end of it all, was, just talking to the guy that I already did know. But like, he got so bold that he went as far as to ask me for a ride to another female's house, knowing that I know that you came here with my girl. So that's just one of those examples. Then another example tonight would be one of my good friends. The mother of his child is a severe alcoholic. And this bitch literally is now, because they've been broken up for some months now, and she's been like really trying to get back with him. And he's over it, and they're done. But she showed up drunk at his family's house trying to accuse him of touching their child. And it's like, how sick do you really have to be to go as far as to do something like that? Right? Especially when she wants to have a meeting, which is her failed attempt to get close to him. But it's like, that's that liquor. Like, no thought process, just doing shit, not making no sense, and just causing mayhem. Then, also, my other homegirl has a baby daddy. He's an alcoholic. Sure enough, showed up at her house today over a pair of shoes, physically assaulted her, and my poor baby got so screwed up. Like, he pushed her over a balcony, and she actually cut herself on some nails. It was tragic. It was horrible. And I'm saying all that to say, like, people need to learn how to just stop drinking. Like, if you are a person who can't drink, like, I can drink and I know how to handle it, and I still don't drink like that just because I just don't like who I am drunk. I don't like how it feels the next day. If you're a person who really cannot handle liquor, please stop while you're ahead. And if you're suffering from alcoholism, please go seek some help, because alcohol is just the worst thing. It destroys. I had an alcoholic stepdad, so I think that plays a factor in the. When I was a young girl, I seen it firsthand how ugly, because I always knew it was just gonna be that much worse once he got drunk, how he would act, and it's like, it just was so ugly. Like, alcohol is ugly. It's demonic. Like, you can literally see, it's why they call it spirits. And I know people want to, like, not believe in spirits and everything, but there is a reason. Like, why would they call that? And think about it, people black out. That's the demon taking all the way over you. That's what that is. And people need to realize that, because that is super real. Like, there's a reason. My one homeboy was talking about how he was so drunk and he was at a bar and he was getting, like, it was like he said he fell out of his chair, and it was like he felt like he was being held down by something, and because he couldn't get up. And it was like, yeah, he was being held down by demons. Like, that's really what it is. And when you are drinking, you're opening that portal and you're allowing these spirits to come into you and take control of your body, whether you acknowledge it or not. That's why people black out and all types of other stuff. So I'm going to swing back. I say all that, and I'm going to swing back into when I was talking to that guy. So Basically, he ended up leaving my house, and his cousin stayed, and we chit chatted some more about everything. And I just was like, man, like, I've never been so distressed. He's like, I'm sorry. Like, I've been trying to, get him to understand, like, you can't act like that. Like, you're in somebody else's house. That's embarrassing. Because he was, like, just being super interruptive, just, cussing like crazy, like, but being disrespectful with it, like, saying bitches and shut the fuck ups and things of that nature, trying to take over my fucking music and stuff. And it's like, I don't even know this guy. Like, I know his cousin, I know the girl he came with, that's my home girl, but you, on the other hand, I don't know you. And so, the next day rolls around, and he wanted to hang out still, and we're hanging out, me and the cousin of the guy that I knew, and like the one that I knew, not the obviously disrespectful one. But I told him, because he was trying to come back over to my house, and I told him, I was like, absolutely not. I was like, I do not want him in my home. I don't like his energy. Like, he kept yelling that he was a demon child and things like that. And at the end of the day, I don't care, what you believe in, but not the devil. Like, you can't claim the devil and be around me. Whether you want to believe in God or not is on you. But, like, to blatantly agree with Satan and demonic entities, I am not for that, me personally. So I was like, no. And then, like I said, I've never been so disrespected in my own home ever. So I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that night, it was like Jesus said in the Bible, don't cast pearls onto swine. I kept that night trying to, like, get a good conversation out of him, but it was just like he just kept getting drunker and drunker. And there was just no way for me to get through to him. So I just was like, you know what, let it go. And I definitely, have been trying to work on that in life, where it's like, I'm so done trying. That's why I need to be focused on what I'm doing here, because it's like, I want to hopefully reach people who are looking to change for the better. I want to reach the people who can relate and hear from a regular person who is letting them know, like, hey, I was a piece of shit before. I had a lot of things I had to work on, a lot of things I had to grow in. I want to sit here and be the first person to tell you, like, I am far from perfect. I'm far from completed in my healing journey. I know it's never going to end. It's something I'm going to work on forever, is being better every day. It's an everyday fight. And I just hope that, like, I could be a person through my experiences and self-evaluation, my counseling, my research, and self-searching I've been doing, soul-searching I've done. I can maybe change people's, minds on wanting to do better, and, like, seeing that, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging and admitting that we are not perfect. And especially coming from a person who believes so much in Jesus Christ and does believe in God as their Lord and Savior, and whether you want to believe in that right away or not, but hopefully through some of my stories, I can see people get a change in the world where they can acknowledge, because, like, I have so many stories about God, like, literal, like, testimonies that are just like, I've seen demons. I've seen someone get possessed. I've had people come and tell me what God told me, like, told them to tell me. Complete strangers that came up to me and told me things that only God could know, because I didn't know these people from a can of paint. And I just pray and I hope that I can just reach people to better our world, because, like, my goal since I was a child was to make a difference in the world, to make a change in the world. And, I'm like, as far as, I feel like I've done what I was supposed to do as far as, like, my day-to-day life, my meeting people along the way, through my partying, through my crazy wild adventures and everything else. Like, I know I've done some hopefully impactful things with others. And, like, I know it's time for me to elevate, and instead of, like, dealing with broken people who don't have any intention to fix themselves. I hope I can reach the people through, online, where we have the social media nowadays. You can reach billions of people now, millions of people now. And I hope I can reach people through this now, since I feel like I've done what I was supposed to do, as far as my face to face dealings in a whole different like level in my life. Because for a long time I was just lost and I was just kind of wandering. And now I have a direction. And I just want to say, it's like you do have to develop. You have to develop. You have to change. You have to grow. Because at the end of the day, you know how many people I've sat and had conversation with, and they can't wait to say, like, well, their mom did this, or their mom didn't do this, or their dad did this, and their dad didn't do this. And I remember when I used to be stuck in that mentality as well, when I used to feel like, oh, like what my parents didn't do for me, or what, my dad not being in our society, growing up in a white community, being black, like all these things that as a child that were out of my control and that did affect me so greatly. But yet it hit I hit that certain point, and it started around the time my brain was fully developing, like finishing development, I should say. When I finally hit that point and I realized, like, sorry guys, I was thirsty. I was realizing, like, I can't keep using that as an excuse, because at this point, it's my own actions that I'm doing that are creating my issues that I'm experiencing in life. From just like the friends I'm choosing, or the places I'm choosing to be, the way I'm viewing myself, the way I'm carrying myself, like all these things, like they're affecting my life. I'm not being who I need to be to get the experience that I want to have. And so, it's like people have to learn that your childhood is not an excuse to just be a piece of shit adult. Because I think too often I'm seeing that over and over in life, where I'm, from conversations with people, it's like a lot of people can't wait. Not everybody. I try to stay away from definite words like everybody or all. But, like, more often than not, I'm seeing it where it's like, people are blaming. That's why I feel like you always hear of that guy who's like, 45, talking about when he was the high school quarterback. Like, why are you talking about high school? Why are you talking about being a quarterback in high school? That was like 30 years ago. You know what I mean? It's like, that's ridiculous. Like, how do you even fucking sound right now? Like, you sound insane. Because why are we talking about that? Like, what does that matter if right now in life you're being a piece of shit, you're being an alcoholic, you're beating your wife, or you're putting your hands on your kids, or you're putting your hands on your significant other, or you're going around the like city just confrontating with people, like treating people like shit, treating people like they're lesser than you, like being egotistical. Like, you can't do that. And just because you were in high school being the shit doesn't mean that you at 45 are the shit. So evolving is eliminating. And whether it's eliminating your ego, eliminating how you think about things, eliminating literal bad habits you've created. Like, I know for me, there's so many different things that I'm trying to get rid of and regain. Like, it's almost like leaving your old self behind, or like, it's more like leaving the person you've created yourself to be to protect the child you once were. And by doing so, you almost have to tap back into being a child. Because once you tap back in and like realize, okay, I like these things, I like this, for the world came and stole that joy from you that was deep inside. You have to touch back into your inner child and love your inner child. Me and some friends just the other day, we did an exercise, and I didn't write my inner child a letter yet, but I wrote my future self a letter, and I wrote my current self a letter. And I suggest everybody to do that because it was really emotional, but it was very healing, and it was very like eye-opening, because I actually sat and was like, we all sat and were really real with ourselves and acknowledge all these things that, like, where we need to work on things, and who we are striving to be, and giving ourselves the props for who we are, and our good things, but then also acknowledging, like, hey, these are the things we could do better. And the thing is like, you gotta have the people around you who are gonna support you to be that best version of yourself, because it's not an easy thing. And if you're trying to do better, but you're surrounded by everybody who has no issue with being exactly the same, it's hard to actually, like, stay strong, because this is where community comes in. As much as it is self, it is also who you're around. And if you're not around those right people, and trust me, I'm speaking from experience, because I had to clean out almost every single person I've ever been friends with, because at the end of the day, they were all people who were not going where I'm going. They had no intention on trying to go to where I want to go, and it hurt me to let a lot of people go. But I knew God told me, and I knew, but I didn't want to believe it until it was, like, prevalent and prominent and dead in my face for me to have to acknowledge, like, damn. It's like we're on two different paths, and that's okay. And I don't love any of my old friends any less. I still have love for any and everybody I've ever came in contact with, because my love is real and genuine. But at the same time, I learned how to love myself, and I realized a lot of my relationships were built off of when I didn't love myself, and that's why I got treated the way I did, and that's why I even was around the people I was around. And I hope and I know that I did impact a lot of people's lives for the better, but now I'm ready to have those people in my life who really love me and are going where I'm going, and we have the same heart, and we have the same ideas, and we have the same intention. I wouldn't even say ideas all the time, but we have the same general, like, morals and values, and we both have the same understanding of, like, what we ultimately are trying to get out of life. They have a goal, and that's something a lot of people don't even have, is an actual goal in mind. No matter how crazy it sounds, whether people would understand them or not is besides the point. They believe in themselves, and that's something we all have to work on and understand, is like, you will only get as far as you believe you can go. And I do truly believe that I can get far, because I have a good intention, I have a good heart, and I'm far, far, far from perfect, but gosh darn it, I'm trying to be. I'm trying my damnedest. I want to be a good person. Like, one of my favorite quotes is, if you can't find anybody good in the world, if you can't find a good person in the world, be one. And I've always lived by that, truly, along with the golden rule to treat others the way you want to be treated. And I've learned how to love myself a lot more in my older years now. I did not love myself for a long time. Like I said, my childhood was not all that. It wasn't bad though either. Like, there was a lot of good things too, but I was, even being black in a white community, like literally the only black person, one of the only black people in the whole county, that was a lot. I was raised to, like, hate myself, and then I didn't even know my biological dad. That made me, like, have hate towards him, and I didn't have an understanding of who exactly I was, because I was missing that whole piece of me. And then that was the same piece of me that was constantly shoved down my throat and making me be treated like I was lesser than everybody else. And I didn't understand it, because I thought I was white. Like, my family didn't treat me no different. So I thought I was just like a white girl, but I was constantly told that I was not a white girl. Like, constantly, it was like a reminder, you're not a white girl. Like, you're black. And I'm like, what does that even mean? And that was a lot. Like, so then I ended up checking out the hood, and then I understood, and that's a story for another day. But I just want to end this note on, some people don't get it, and they won't get it. And that's, one of those things that's really not your responsibility. It's about you. And, the right people will come to you as you continue to grow yourself. And I'm seeing that as I've been truly working on myself. And, I also have seen in my journey how it's like when I've gone against what God's told me, and I've been with those people that I knew I had no business being around and trying to make relationships work that had no business going together, when they already showed me who they were and I chose to ignore them, I was finding myself dealing with their consequences of their actions because they are unhealed. And my biggest thing right now I'm still working on is learning how to not be angry when it comes to that. Because, like, I've always suffered from holding a lot of anger when people have done me wrong. And I would say I forgave them, but I didn't really forgive them. Not from the bottom of my heart, not truly. I just would cut them off and just be like, you know what, it is what it is. But I still had that bitterness in me. And I'm not no bitter bitch, but I can hold that resentment in my heart. And I think it's an Italian thing because everybody in my family is like that. Like, Italians are known for some hardcore grudges. So, I've always been guilty of holding that grudge in my heart, in my soul. And that's like a part of that anger and that rage, because it's like anytime I ever fought anybody, it was like they got an ass beating of like 30 different ass beatings, because I hold my anger real well until I don't, and then it's like now all of a sudden I'm beating your ass like you really did something terrible to me, but you just were the one who triggered it, and I'm beating you for all the other people I wanted to beat up and I didn't. But I gave up my fighting days, guys. I'm grown. Like, that goes back into that. Like, I've been to jail for that shit, and that was the last time. When it came to that, I realized, like, nope, not my forte, not my thing. I'm good on that. Like, violence never solves anything any fucking ways. Like, seriously. So I'm all promoting peace. I'm not over here I'm just making a point right now. But, it's like, gotta watch who you deal with, because their consequences will bleed into your life whether you want them to or not, because we are connected whether you want to realize it or not, and anybody that you're close to is affecting your life in one way or another. So keep that in mind, guys. I'm just here trying to spread positivity, love, and self-development for the better. Because even if I could only touch the heart of one or two people, one or two people in this world who are on a better path and better journey for themselves. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for you guys, And I guess Intella would be doing it for me, because if we can make all of us better people, then we would live in a better world. And I'm really doing it for the kids at that point, because we're not going to be here forever, but we all got kids out here. Most of us got kids out here, and we don't want to leave their worlds in a shamble like how things have already been going right now. It's pretty bad out here. So hopefully I can touch some people's hearts. I will say I did not start my YouTube stuff yet, but I'm definitely trying to be more serious. I'm going to, guys. Consistency is key. I'm trying to have that circle of friends that is starting to help me, like, with pushing that. So I'm going to be on top of that. YouTube stuff coming soon. I know I said it last time, but I promise you before I podcast again, I will check out my TikTok. I have been posting more on TikTok. I think it's Satimia something. Let me see. I don't know where I put my phone. What the heck? Look, guys, I'm a scatterbrain. I don't know what I do with it. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay. All right, I got it. All right. Give me a second. I don't know if you guys heard me burp, but excuse me if you did. Okay, Satimia7. Check out Satimia7 on TikTok. My Instagram, Satimia91, if you're interested in seeing my actual face. And like I said, I will be striving to put up that YouTube. Like I said, not even striving. I'm not going to say I'm going to. I am going to do it. Not try. I will. From Cat in the Hat, you don't try, you do. So, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Love you all lots. Tune in next time. Continue to shout me out. Give me support. Thank you again to all the people who have been loving and supporting me. I appreciate you greatly. Stay in the loop. And more to come on. Because at the end of the day, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Podcast. Good night.